Joy Philbin, and this is Haven.
Haven, a weekly program filled with ideas and features to help you make your home your haven. Presented by the Home Furnishings Council, we take you behind the scenes at the White House to President and Mrs. Clinton's newly decorated family quarters. You'll be surprised to see the latest designs in cedar chests. What exactly is veneer? Our Haven Wood Tips expert gives us the answer, and much more. Now, here's your Haven host, Joy Philbin.
Hello, and welcome to Haven. You know, designers have a tough job as it is, trying to match just the right styles with people's different tastes. But add to that the challenge of decorating a house with an incredible history and past, and you've got a really tough job. Well, today my special guest is designer Kaki Hockersmith, who decorated the White House for President and Mrs. Clinton. And now, for the first time on television, we're going to show you those results. Kaki, welcome to Haven. Nice to see you. Very happy to have you here. And now, I know that you worked with the Clintons on the governor's mansion in Arkansas, but this must have been an enormous undertaking. Where do you begin?
Well, I was fortunate enough to make several trips to the White House before the inauguration, just to see what was available there in the wonderful White House collection, and to report back to the Clintons about the various rooms, and then decide what they wanted to use those rooms for. People don't realize that just because a former president used a room for a study or a bedroom, that we might use it for an exercise room or for a room for Chelsea.
Sure, everybody has a different taste, but what would you say was the most different about working for President and Mrs. Clinton than any other decorating job that you had?
In some ways, it was very similar to other jobs because the process is the same. And in other ways, working with the White House staff and the curator's office and factoring in the politics and being very conscious of the budget and all of those things made it a very unique job for me and a very exciting one.
And I'm sure you had a few deadlines. I remember reading where they whisked you away on Inauguration Day, and you said it was like a foreign spy novel or something because you were taking down drapes and hanging things, pictures, and in fact, you didn't even get to go to one of the balls, right? You were so
I was
busy.
too tired. But I did get to greet the Clintons when they came in from the parade at the front door and welcome them to their new home. And after hanging draperies in the Oval Office and moving in a lot of their furniture and really getting things in shape.
Would you say they both made decisions, or did you work mostly with Mrs. Clinton? Did the president get involved?
In rooms where Mrs. Clinton and I felt like he would be very interested, his offices, the treaty room, the Oval Office, their bedroom, he was involved in all of that decision-making. And
just like any other husband.
Right.
Well, let's move on and see our first pictures. I believe the Oval Office. Is that right?
Yes.
Take a look at that. Now, I can see the colors are very strong. What did you do here, Kaki?
We determined the president wanted an office that was very upbeat and patriotic, and so we determined that a good color scheme for that would be golds and reds and blues and patriotic colors.
The next picture is the memento table where he's got all of, I know there's the campaign bus.
The Clinton Gore bus. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little clay sculpture that Chelsea made for the president for Father's Day.
Yes, I thought that was nice because it's a nice mixture of personal and professional mementos. Now, this is the treaty room, I believe, before you redid it.
Right. This is the residence office of the president and has been for several administrations.
Oh, look at the difference here.
So we really warmed it up, and the president wanted a room that felt like a man's library with his book collection and with antiques and kind of a rich,
very rich. Now, is that painted
look.
Red walls, or was
it's
that
actually wall covering. It's a sort of a sponge,
very warm
ground covering.
And let's see. Yes, he has a history of, a collection of history books. I guess, so that's a nice
particularly
room to put them in.
About American history and a presidential collection.
Oh, here's a shot of the draperies. Now, you know, I happened to see this fabric.
Did you?
Of course, I'm always in the decorator design building. And I said, look at this, because it's like a trompe l'oeil. It's a drape on a drape, isn't it? It's painted on. and
that's
it's
a
very
very
dramatic.
popular thing right now, all the trompe-l'oeil fabrics. It's beautiful.
And they said, well, that's hanging in President Clinton's treaty
Yes,
room. I said,
it's called
really?
Opera House.
Yes, it's very pretty. Oh yes, here's the picture of the signing of the treaty. Of course, that's where the room got its name.
Was signed in this room on that very table, which was the cabinet table for a number of years before the West Wing was built.
It must be difficult to accessorize around a room that has so much history in it. Was that a problem?
Well, actually, most of these items were not in the room, and I found them in storage and brought them out of storage and kind of revitalized the room in a historic vein.
Well, here I thought that picture had been hanging in there for years and years, but it certainly fits.
It was in a warehouse in Maryland.
Well, I like that. I love all the colors. They're very pretty. Now, we're going to take a break, and when we continue, we're going to continue the tour through the White House, so stay with us, okay?
To find out the manufacturer or retailer of any item you see, jot down the code number on the right of your screen and call our toll-free number, 1-800-521-HOME.
Brought to you by Lazy Boy, your complete source for beautiful living room and family room furniture. Lazy Boy, the name America's comfortable with.
What I loved best about my childhood was this, the home I grew up in. My mom and dad made every room so warm and comfortable. It was a home filled with love. And that's the kind of home I'm making for my family, with the help of the all-new Haven Home Decorating Guide from the Home Furnishings Council. It's free at participating home furnishing stores.
I wish they had Haven when you were a kid.
I'm still a kid.
No.
Call 1-800-521-HOME and also ask for stores offering free copies of the Frameworks Guide to Custom Framing.
Too many children in this nation are being held prisoner. Their captors are fear and violence. Their playgrounds are no place to play in. As a parent, I want this violence to stop. As your president, I'm committed to ending it. We must strengthen our families, neighborhoods, and communities. We must give our children a future. We must take away their fear and give them hope.
Do something now. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT.
We must give our children back their childhood. Working together, we can.
This is a clam sofa. It's a reproduction, but it costs more than the original. These are leaves. This is a fountain. It spoke to me. It said, Meg, buy me.
Summer sale right now includes women's fashion canvas shoes. Regular $9.99 and $13.99, now $6.99. Kids canvas shoes. Regular $6.99 and $7.99, now $4.99. Women's leather sandals. Regular $10.99 and $12.99, now only $8.99. Men's leather sandals. Regular $19.99, now $14.99. Women's and kids leather footbed sandals. Regular $9.99, now $7. Don't miss Pickway's summer sale.
Well, we're back, and with me is Khaki Hawker-Smith, the designer for the President and Mrs. Clinton. And we've been talking about how she decorated President's offices, and now we're going to talk about how you've done their personal quarters. So why don't we start with the West Sitting Hall, Khaki, and see what you've done there. Now, this room, I understand, was originally yellow to begin with, and Mrs. Clinton is very much aware of economics, and she didn't want to redo anything that wasn't necessary. Is that right?
Exactly. We worked with the paint color, which was yellow, and the draperies that the Reagans had installed 12 years ago. But the furnishings were on their second slipcover, and we felt like it was time to just recover what was there and change the rugs. Were in bad state. And so...
I'm sure they see a lot of traffic.
A lot of traffic. But we didn't discard them. We actually took them to the third floor where they're being used and just added the pattern rug that you see there, which is beautiful.
Very pretty fabrics, and I see a lot of family photos now. I guess this really reflects all of their personal mementos, and this is where they've put most of their family photographs. It's very pretty. Let's move on now to the next picture. I think we're going to see the before picture of the Lincoln sitting room. This is the way it looked. Now, is it true this room hasn't been done in quite some time, is that right?
I think it was the Nixon administration. But the room, it adjoins the Lincoln bedroom, and it is the room where guests who frequently stay in the Lincoln bedroom have their breakfast or sit in front of a fire and read at night. And we wanted to make it warmer and cozier.
Oh, you did. Look at that. Those draperies are lovely. And now, is this where President Nixon, I read, used to like to sit in front of the fire even in the summertime?
Even in the summer. He turned the air conditioning up and built a fire and would sit in that room and read. It's been a favorite of a number of presidents, but I think now you can see the upholstery is more comfortable, and it's just a beautiful room.
Well, you can see that they both like very vibrant colors and very bold colors, and certainly the Victorian flavor in all the rooms. It's very pretty. This is the little, is this the butler's pantry now that you made into a kitchen?
It was a working kitchen for the butlers to serve from, and we immediately decided to remove the island from the center of the room and install a table and chairs, a regular breakfast set for the Clintons, and they have breakfast there and many dinners, and it's a congregating point even though it's a small kitchen, and you can see the cheerful wall covering.
It's a nice feeling. I guess Chelsea can go in and have breakfast with her family just like an ordinary
every morning
teenager, and that's important.
Microwave muffins and cereal.
Does Mrs. Clinton, does she cook once in a while?
Yes.
Really?
And they heat up a lot of leftovers and do
Does
pizza.
the president know how to make coffee?
Well, he drinks a lot of coffee.
Can't master that. Well, it's really fascinating to see this, and I think you've done a fantastic job. I read where you said this experience has forever changed your life.
Indeed.
How did you mean that, Kate?
I've been an incredible experience, and I have met so many wonderful people and made some wonderful contacts within my profession. And a number of those people are going to remain lifelong friends. And I just want to keep moving. I don't want to go backwards, and want to